Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Higdon, and I'm with NASCAR's Integrated Marketing Communications team. Welcome to Championship 4 Media Day here at the beautiful Diplomat Resort and Spa in Hollywood, California. Before we hear from our Championship 4 drivers, I'd like to welcome our many fans watching live on NASCAR.com and listening on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the program. In less than 24 hours, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series cars will hit the track at Homestead-Miami Speedway, preparing for another thrilling championship race, the Ford EcoBoost 400, live on NBC, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. In addition to these viewing and listening options, NBC announced this week the launch of NBCSN Hot Pass, a multi-window display and track map that gives fans an in-depth look at our Championship 4 drivers during Sunday's race. This option is another in a long line of innovations that NBC has offered in their return to NASCAR coverage. We certainly thank them and congratulate them on an incredible 2015 season. Our Championship 4 drivers survived another challenging chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup and have earned the right to compete for one of the toughest titles in all of sports, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. And today we hear from them each. Our drivers are indeed here, and they are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the Championship 4 drivers. Hello, guys. To my left, he's the defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion and driver of the number 4 Budweiser Jimmy John's Chevrolet, Kevin Harvick. The 4-time series champion who will compete in his final race on Sunday, the driver of the number 24 Exalta Chevrolet, Jeff Gordon. After returning from injury, he reeled off 4 wins in 5 races. The driver of the number 18 M&M's Crispy Toyota, Kyle Busch. And hailing from New Jersey while driving for a team headquartered in Denver, the driver of the number 78 Furniture Row, Denver Mattress Chevrolet, Martin Truex Jr. We'll get right to your questions from the media for our championship contenders. If you have a question, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation when called upon. We have mic runners, Dawn and Andrew in the back, who will get you a microphone. So we will start with Mr. George Diaz, and we'll go to Tom Jensen, and then over to Jeff Gluck.
Yeah, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel over here right in front of you, Kevin. Being the defending champion, does that do a thing for you coming into this weekend? Does anything translate?
Well, I think so. I think, for me personally, I think that just the management of the week and, just all the logistics of everything that happens and knowing what to expect is definitely a good thing, because in the end it's not just another week. It's championship week, and there's a lot on the line, and I feel like managing those emotions and logistics from everybody at Stewart-Haas, who's had experience winning the championship, and everybody in our office that they got to go through that last year is, there can be a lot of distractions. So managing your time and doing the things that you need to do are definitely a positive, and keeping the right frame of mind and staying focused on the things that you need to stay focused on. For me, that's pretty simple this week, and that's to drive the car and try to get the most out of it. So I think it's definitely good that we got to go through that last year.
Hi, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com for Jeff. Jeff, has it sunk in yet that this is going to be your last race, and what are your emotions going into the weekend?
No, not quite yet. My emotions right now are just focused on the race, and we've been doing so much pre-planning for this weekend, having friends and family here just because we expected it, knew it was going to be my final race, but certainly things have ramped up a bit since Martinsville, it was nice being able to win that first race of that round because it did give you a little bit more time to make some plans around here to stay focused, and I had to make some adjustments, because of some of the things that we did have planned. But I mean, I'm just excited. The team is extremely fired up. Being in the shop this week with them, yesterday it was really, really exciting. So, yeah, I think still the focus is on that. But there's times when I get on Twitter or I see something, like the ESPN thing that Jimmy did, and it starts to definitely get you a little choked up, and that's only a good thing. I'm excited, about this season winding down the way it has, and the career, and makes you feel good when you hear some of those things that are out there.
Okay, we'll go to Jeff, and then over to Bob, and then over to Jordan.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Guys, we've heard a lot about driver codes and racing hard and what's the right thing to do this year, especially in the chase. If there's a late restart or battle for the lead among you four, where's the line, and does anything go at that point?
I think for me, honestly, it doesn't really change from the way I've raced my whole career and the way I've raced every week. If it comes down to, a little bit of pushing and shoving at the end for the win, then, it just depends on, what I feel like the other guys are willing to put on the line. I think that I don't think anyone's just going to go out there and wreck someone to try to get the championship. At least that's not the way I would do it. So for me, it really doesn't change from the way I race every week. We're going to put our best effort out there on the racetrack. We're going to race as hard as we can, and hopefully we don't have to worry about crossing that line.
Anyone else you guys want to add to that? You good? All right, Martin speaks for the group.
Wait your turn.
I mean, I don't have to worry about racing these guys next year, but yeah, state your affiliation, name and affiliation. I think you have to be in a competitive environment like we are. I think it also depends on your interaction with those drivers. I don't think that any of us currently have any beefs among one another, and we have a lot of respect for one another, and you want to go out there. I mean, the ultimate is that you're running second, and you have to pass one of these guys on the final lap, and it's some bold and exciting move, but a clean move, or maybe just a little fender rub or something like that gets you the win. I mean, to me, that's the ultimate. That's how everybody wishes and hopes that they can do it. If you put the bumper to them and they spin, they crash, even if you cross the line first, that's going to weigh on you a little bit. Yeah, you might be the champion, but it's still going to have sort of a shadow over it. So I think, if you ask us right now what we'd be willing to do, we want to go do it in a clean way. But you don't know how you're going to react on that last lap when you have it in sight, and you don't know what's going to go on throughout the whole race that may create an opportunity.
All right, we'll go over to Bob and then to Jordan.
I think there's one more. I think as you going through this last year, all four of us raced against each other pretty much the whole race, and everybody raced hard and did everything that they wanted to do as far as pass each other and race, because in the end, I mean, if it's the last lap, I mean, what are the odds of it coming down to that? I mean, you have to get to that point, and how you race each other all day. We raced hard, but in the end, it was clean, and everybody did what they had to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same way this year, where you have to race up front and race for a win and do all the things that happened last year. But that already happened last year, and you saw how it went.
Anything to add, Kyle? You're good?
He's grumpy today.
All right, we'll go over to Bob and then Jordan and then the gentleman in the back.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. For all of you, threat of rain on Sunday, are you okay with the rules as they are, that you could have a rain-shortened championship race, or do you feel like the championship race should be run to the finish, even if you had to come back another day?
Depends on where I'm at when the rain comes. I mean, it's South Florida. The weather changes so quick here that you have to be really careful not to put too much into the forecast. I mean, I know my approach has always been, listen, when the track is dry and you take the green flag, you go and you race. And when the rain comes, you know, you can't predict it, you can't plan for it. Sure, you know, there's sometimes worth taking a little more risk. Like last weekend, for instance, at Phoenix, we were leading the race when the caution came out, and we knew rain was coming at any second, but we were also going to run out of fuel. And so was that worth the risk? I mean, not that there was a championship on the line, but we were still thinking about it, thinking about a win, thinking about points. And, you know, those things will weigh out on Sunday if the weather comes. But right now, I'm certainly not going to be worried and thinking about weather. I'm going to be thinking about getting on track Friday and seeing how we qualify, hopefully if the weather's good.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. This is for all four of you. How informed do you want to be where the other three drivers are throughout the race? Is there a certain point where you want to know what you have to do, or do you just want to focus on getting the best finish possible and going for the win?
Well, if you're in front of them, you'll know. And that's the only spot that matters. So, I mean, at that point, you're going to know as a driver where you're at with only three guys.
Martin, you want to take that too?
Yeah, I totally agree with Harvick. I mean, you feel like to win the championship, you're probably going to have to win this race. So, you know, if you're doing what you need to do, you're pretty much going to know where they're at. You know, I can see a lot of scenarios in my head where the four of us are, you know, running in the top five a lot of that race. So you'll know if you're ahead of them, and that's where you'll want to be.
All right, we'll go back here and then over to Jerry Jordan and then up here to Dwight.
So that contains a very fun stretch in the back. This is for all four of you guys. There's very distinct stories coming into this race. All four of you have a very distinct story. In your opinion, how does your story stack up against the other three?
Well, I'm not even close, so, to the story. I know for this one for sure, and that one for sure. We'll just, yeah. So, it's between those three.
He's the favorite. We're the sentimentals. That's all there is.
The way I see it, these three next to me are supposed to win the championship. And I'm probably not, so that's a pretty cool story in itself.
I think it's just a great opportunity for myself to come back in this format and have the opportunity to race in the way that NASCAR presents the rules and the way the chase format is. So, you know, like Martin said, a lot of people would say that I don't deserve the chance or to be here, but you know what, we are, and we're going to give it all we got just to go out there and have some fun and race against these guys. And I'm pretty sure, you know, to the previous question, it's going to be all four of us right around each other all day long, and we're going to know where each other are at, and we're going to know what we need to do in order to win this championship. It's going to be most likely to win the race. So you just got to put all those things in your mind and just go out there and perform.
All right, we'll go over to Jerry Jordan, to down here to Dwight, and then back to Pete Pistone.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires. Martin, is it past time for people to stop looking at you as an underdog and realize that in a few hours you could be a champion and beat all these guys up here?
I don't know. I think that, you know, certainly, you know, with my record in the Sprint Cup Series, you know, there's been a lot of ups and downs throughout my career. I've never really been in a position like this before. So, you know, for a lot of reasons, and I've said it, you know, since the chase started, for a lot of reasons, we are the underdog. You know, the one-car team from Denver, you know, rookie crew chief. I've never raced for a championship in this series. So for a lot of reasons, we are the underdog. But, you know, I think, again, what we've done this season has proved that we belong here. We've done it week in and week out. You know, that we, you know, we can get the job done on any given day, and you know, this Sunday is no different than that. So we're going to just do our best and you know, go race hard and hope we put our best on the racetrack, and you know, feel like we're in a position to do something special. And you know, you never know when you're going to get this opportunity again. So we're really just, you know, 100% focused on what we're doing. We're not really worried about what people think, what people are saying. We're just going out there to do our jobs to the best of our ability, and that's what we've done all year, and hopefully that'll pay dividends in the end.
We'll go to Dwight and then back to Pete Pistone.
Dwight, DrumRaceState.com. Martin, about the, oh, here, buddy. About the underdog status. As far as when you put that helmet on, like everybody else up there when they put that helmet on, don't those things just kind of go away?
They totally do. I mean, you don't think about anything in the outside world when that helmet goes on other than what's about to happen in front of you on the racetrack. So it's real easy to focus, for me, on what we have to do and what it's going to take. It's going to, it's definitely not going to be easy. We have 3 great competitors here to race against this weekend. But every other weekend we're racing against 42. So, the odds are definitely a lot better this weekend than they've been the rest of the year. And, again, if we can just go out and do our job, it's hopefully we'll be good enough to get it done. There's no telling right now, but I'm excited about the opportunity. Feel like we're going to have a really good shot at it. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's really no pressure. It feels good to be here. It's this whole season's been just a ton of fun for me, and to see the progress of my race team, and hopefully we can finish off the final chapter here.
Okay, we'll go over to Pete, and then Don, if you could go in the middle here, and then over to the gentleman next to him. Those two after Pete.
Pete Pistone, MRN.com, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Jeff, there's a school of thought that because Kevin, Kyle, and Martin are going to have other opportunities to win championships, you have the most pressure of the 4 on Sunday. What's your reaction to that, and how much pressure do you feel in this race to the other 796 you've had in your career?
I mean, I look at it as more exciting. I mean, if I could have scripted this thing in January, February, I don't think I could have scripted it quite the way it's going. I never dreamed that we could have an opportunity to be battling for the championship in my final race. Is there pressure? I mean, I feel like there's always pressure. I think that more of the way I'm looking at it is just, going out in an awesome, fun way, and by winning that race in Martinsville, putting us in this elite group. I mean, that right there, just was an incredible moment and something I'll never forget. And knowing that we were just going to come down here and be a part of that 4, that right there in itself is a win. But if you don't think that our team is working extremely hard and very focused and determined to be a real factor in this thing on Sunday, then you're mistaken. And so that part certainly puts pressure on. I mean, I think, there's a ton of pressure taken off all of us because we're just a part of it, and we know that we can't be worse than 4th when this thing's all over. But at the same time, there's definitely pressure because we all want it. We all want it really badly, and we all know that it's not going to come easily. And to me, that's the same pressure that we have very often in big races and big events and big moments, in certain points of the race. And I don't think that really is any different.
We'll go here, then to Kyle, and then back to the middle.
Brian Mapes from Xfinity Racing. We took a fan question, and Chris asks, if you can't win, who would you be rooting for to win the title?
Why don't we start here with your defending champion and work our way down the row?
I don't think that's an approved question. They don't have an affiliation. See, you guys are missing the whole goal. The whole goal is to not piss anybody off to the point where they just absolutely want to go home and you motivate them. So I think they're all great stories.
I'm going with Harvick. I'm saying I agree with Harvick. I'm not going with him as the win. No.
That's not what you
I
meant.
want all 3 of you guys to come across the line, in a photo finish if I can't be in front of you.
I'll go with my my childhood hero, Jeff Gordon.
I mean, this is a total setup. That's all I got.
All right, we'll go here with Kyle, and then back to the middle, and then Kenny Bruce.
Kyle Magda, Race Chaser Online. I have 2. I have one for Kyle, one for Jeff. Kyle, I know this weekend, right now you're entered in the Xfinity race. seeing that from your viewpoint, does that help you that you get more track time, or does it hurt you in the sense that it serves more as a distraction with the championship here on the line?
I think it is a distraction, and to me, it's always been sort of a good distraction, to get your mind off of things a little bit, and you get to go out there and have some fun, and just try to focus on, the other part you mentioned of just getting out there and getting some extra track time and being able to have that opportunity to race at Homestead. Obviously, it's been 360 whatever days since we've been here, so to get out there and to run the Xfinity race and to try to play with the lines and kind of see how all that goes. I feel like it's always a positive for me, so I look forward to that. And also the way that you have to run this racetrack right up against the wall, within inches of the wall, it just fine-tunes those things that you got to do for Sunday, and being able to run up there like that and having the confidence to do that. So my crew chief would also probably tell you that it's a good thing that I get to go away for a while so he can work on the car and not have me putting things in his mind that don't need to be there, and he can just make some smart adjustments.
And for Jeff, speaking of going out on top, I know 15 years ago you won the Busch race at Homestead-Miami. That was your final start. Could you just recall that day and maybe some similarities that you can draw to come Sunday?
Wow, you're making me go back to the memory bank on that one. You got to understand, that was a different racetrack. That was a flat Homestead, so there's not a whole lot you can take out of it. I don't know if I actually knew that was going to be my final Busch Grand National race, so there was not a lot of planning. I was kind of hoping it was going to be my last one. I was like, God, I got to do another one of these things. We struggled for 5 races. I think I did 3 seasons or 2 seasons, and we'd struggle for 5 of them and said we should do another one, and then we'd win the last one. And so there's no comparisons. It's not even close. Our preparation, our thought process, what was on the line, the planning, all that. Nowhere close. Other than I hope the results are the same.
All right, we're going to go here in the middle over to Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com, and we will wrap it up with Nate Ryan, who will have the pressure of the final question.
Hey guys, Jeffrey Miller, Athlon Sports. Kevin, everybody's painting you as the favorite. So do you expect to win on Sunday? Are you the favorite?
Well, there's just so many things that happen throughout these races. I have the confidence in my team and the things that we've done this year that I believe that, our car will be competitive but as we've proven, throughout the chase, even though your car is competitive, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in our sport. Whether it's mistakes from me or parts failures or, whatever goes on. So in the end, we're going to try to control the things that we can control. I think our guys have kind of lived in this, in this type of situation where everybody expects the car to go out and perform well, and I think you have to be very careful of how you react to those things and how you balance those things and how you talk about those things. And you're confident in what you have, but you can't be confident in the results just for the fact that you just never know what can reach out and grab you. So we're gonna control the things that we can control, and hopefully it goes well.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. For each of you except for Kevin, because obviously, Kevin, you were in this situation last year, so you know what it's like. But have you guys ever been in a one race for all the marbles type situation before? I mean, I know you have the elimination races and you need to win to advance, but for the championship, as you came up, are there any similarities to races that you guys had to win?
I was going to take it first because your memory bank's a lot longer than ours. You got to go back a few years. I haven't actually, no. So this is I guess a first for me, but one that I'm looking forward to for sure. What's funny is I just thought about it as we were sitting up here is my first Xfinity Series, Busch Series championship that I was racing for years ago was actually against Truex. So we've been in that situation before, although it wasn't the last race that it came down to. So I think that that could be said for something that some guys don't have that experience in that, but yet maybe not having that experience and taking a loss in one of those situations, you kind of don't really know what to expect, so you just let circumstances take care of themselves, and you don't focus on anything or don't think about anything. You just try to let your skill take over and take over for the results in itself.
Yeah, for me, I think the only thing I can really relate it to is when I first got my big break to run in the Busch Series for Chance 2 back in 2003, and I knew that I was going to run one race for him. I didn't know if I was ever going to get any more, and that was kind of my big chance to make a career out of it. And it seems, the similar feel, just the pressure and the expectations, and how's it going to go, and you're just really thinking about it all in your mind. So that's really the only thing I can ever really relate it to.
For me, I mean, if I go way back to 97 when I battled with Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett, it came down to the final race at Atlanta between the three of us. But in that situation, I think we had a fairly decent lead. We had to finish 17th or better, and we ran 17th or 18th all day long, and so it was miserable. But luckily, we still pulled it off. I love this scenario far better where you're on even points. You got to perform at a high level and just go out there to win the race. And you know that there's a good chance you're going to have to win the race. Then the only other one I can compare it to is whatever year Kurt won it. I think it was 2004 when me, Kurt, and Jimmy were here at Homestead, all with a chance at winning it. Kurt had the lead. It wasn't even, but we all raced our guts out. Knew we had to basically race for the win. And I remember that final restart, I was second, I think, to Biffle, and then Jimmy was third. And I tried to go for the win and ended up not getting by Biffle, and Jimmy got by me, and neither one of us won the championship, but he passed me in points, and he finished second, I finished third. But just that mentality of knowing how hard you had to push to have a shot at winning that championship that'd be the only comparison I have.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Kevin, a few of us were struck by you saying that the goal was not to piss anybody off, because it seems like that's been your goal at many of these events in the past. So some of us are also struck by the affable collegiality up here. Why no mind games today from any of you guys? Do you guys all just like each other too much, or what's the deal? Usually we're used to people needling each other and taking shots.
Well, I think it's his fault. We're going to blame it on him. It's a little bit different, I think, just for the fact that I know we all want to win. We all want to have a championship. But in the end, you don't want to be the guy that was disrespectful at Jeff Gordon's last press conference or say something that is just a total jackass move, so.
God, I hope he's thinking like that on Sunday, too.
It's Thursday, Jeff. It's Thursday. But I don't know. I just don't think it's. I think there's a lot of respect for where everybody's at, and I think when you look at Martin and everything that those guys have done with what they've got in Colorado, and here they are, and you look at Kyle breaking his leg and fighting back. I mean, it's just, and you have Jeff who's going to retire and run the last race. I mean, there's really no reason to create a story. There's no reason to create a moment. If you guys can't find something to write about on this stage, y'all need to be fired. So make some good stories and make sure there's enough people watching. We're dependent on you.
All right, we'll end on that note with the defending champions. So that concludes our formal question and answer portion. We'll now have the breakout sessions with each of our Championship 4 drivers, followed by the 4 championship car owners as well. Thank you very much. I hope you get a lot out of the day. Have a good afternoon.